Sang, and I'm the 1AC. Contention 1. Serious use of chemical weapons leads to World War III. Susan Rice, United States National Security Advisor. Rice is a former U.S. diplomat, former Brookings Institution Fellow, and former United States Ambassador to the United Nations, published on Politico Web, September 9, 2013, Access October 6, 2013. Failing to respond damages the international principle reflected in two multilateral treaties and basic human decency that such weapons must never again be used anywhere in the world. Failing to respond to the use of chemical weapons risks opening the door to other weapons of mass destruction and emboldening madmen who would use them. We cannot allow terrorists bent on destruction or nuclear North Korea or an aspiring nuclear Iran to believe for 1 minute that we are shying away from our determination to back up our long-standing warnings. If we begin to erode the moral outrage of gassing children in their beds, we open ourselves up to even more fearsome consequences. Syria's use of chemical weapons and lack of intervention will embolden North Korea to expand their chemical and nuclear weapon programs. Subpoint B. Embolden North Korea poses a threat to China and South Korea. Christopher Bodine, Beijing correspondent for the Associated Press, published on the Big Story internet page for the Associated Press on September 10, 2013, access October 1, 2013. U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel warned recently that North Korea possesses a massive stockpile of chemical weapons that threatens South Korea and the 28,000 U.S. troops stationed there. And while China remains North Korea's most important ally, it has repeatedly expressed concerns about the regime's threat to regional stability and has sought to coax Pyongyang back to six-nation nuclear disarmament talks, so far unsuccessfully. Beijing joined the international community in tightening sanctions against the North over a banned missile launch and nuclear tests that again raised the specter of armed conflict on the Korean Peninsula just across the Yellow Sea from China. Subpoint C. U.S. and Japan positioned defenses against North Korea. The Associated Press, published on ABC 7 News website on October 3rd, access October 5th, 2013. The United States and Japan moved Thursday to modernize and expand their defense alliance to counter new 21st century challenges, including the continuing threat from nuclear-armed North Korea and potential aggression from China over disputed territory. Revamping the guidelines of their defense partnership for the first time in 16 years, the Allies agreed to position a second early warning radar in Japan within the next year to help protect against North Korea. And by next spring, they will deploy new long-range surveillance drones to help monitor disputed islands in the East China Sea, a move that may well raise tensions in Beijing. Subpoint D. North Korea ready to attack U.S. Reuters, an international and quotation service based in London, published October 7, 2013, access October 7, 2013. In the latest outburst, a spokesman for the North military warned the United States of disastrous consequences for moving a group of ships, including an aircraft carrier, into a South Korean port. In this connection, the units of all services and Army Corps level KPA received an emergency order from the Supreme Command to re-examine the operation plans already ratified by it and keep themselves fully ready to promptly launch operations at any time. The spokesman said, referring to the Korean People's Army, the U.S. will be wholly accountable for the unexpected horrible disaster to be met by its imperialist aggression forces nuclear strike means. North Korea's attack consists of its chemical arsenal and its nuclear arsenal and will be directed at the 28,000 troops stationed in South Korea as well as civilian population, thus causing World War III. Contention 2. We should attack Syria to decrease the threat of future chemical and nuclear weapon usage. Subpoint A. Striking Syria will have similar results in Bosnia. Michael O. Hanlon, a senior fellow with the Center for 21st Century Security and Intelligence and Director of Research for the Foreign Policy Program at the Brookings Institution, where he specializes in U.S. defense strategy, the use of military force, and American foreign policy. O'Hanlon is a member of External Advisory Board at the Central Intelligence Agency, published in the Daily Beast on September 27, 2013, access October 6, 2013. So before the United States can figure out what to do in Syria, we must think about where our intervention could realistically end. This is not necessarily easy to do because circumstances can and likely will change over the months ahead. But neither is such long-term thinking entirely impossible. From my vantage point, the right model is neither Iraq, nor Afghanistan, nor Libya, but instead Bosnia. It is not a perfect model, but it is a good place to start. As many will recall, 2 decades ago, we watched similar killing take place in Bosnia for a couple of years until international outrage and battlefield dynamics converged to make a solution possible. NATO finally bombs Slobodan Milosevic's Serbian militias. then pushed them toward a peace deal that created a soft partition of the country. It wasn't a flawless outcome, but nearly 2 decades later, Serbs, Muslims, and Croats in Bosnia have not gone back to war. Subpoint B. Striking Syria will restore a deterrent of weapon of mass destruction. Michael O'Hanlon, a senior fellow with the Center for 21st Century Security and Intelligence and Director of Research for the Foreign Policy Program at the Brookings Institution, where he specializes in U.S. defense strategy, the use of military force, and American foreign policy. O'Hanlon is a member of External Advisory Board at the Central Intelligence Agency, published in Voice of America News on September 1st, 2013, Access, October 6, 2013. Several dozen cruise missiles, perhaps, and a day or two of strikes is probably enough to achieve the immediate purpose of restoring deterrence of weapons of mass destruction use and hopefully getting countries like Iran and North Korea to notice as they pursue or consider pursuing nuclear ambitions that President Obama's red lines to them still mean something. Seeing the U.S. intolerance of nuclear and chemical weapons will persuade North Korea to begin degrading its nuclear capabilities. China and U.S. will no longer need to station defense nearby, and a worldwide crisis would be avoided. Now stand open for cross-examination.
Has North Korea tested nukes prior to the Syrian conflict?
Yes.
Have they recently tested during the Syrian conflict?
I don't believe so.
But how would you explain in evidence with China that they recently tested over the Yellow Sea?
The missile that tested over the Yellow Sea?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I haven't looked into that.
So, North Korea has continued the nuclear program regardless of the Syrian conflict.
Yeah.
Has the U.S. stationed troops near North Korea before the Syrian conflict?
Before, no. Well, U.S.?
Yes.
Well, in South Korea, yes.
Yes. Could that have been something to provoke North Korea?
Perhaps.
Thank you.